Hey there. It's me, Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access, link in the comment, thanks. Monday, July 7th. Back to the routine, except this time for the water therapy, I was able to join Sarah in the pool. Fortunately, the locker room was empty except for Sarah and me when we changed back into our street clothes. For me it was cutoffs and Julie's girls' basketball tee. We both wore scarves. Sarah's wearing the leg over the weekend had helped, and she made some progress in walking, both with the rails and with the walker. The man from the prosthetics lab said that she would be ready for her more cosmetically correct leg in another week, that she was doing very well in her rehab. We left a few minutes early. I pulled Julie's gray Honda around, and we drove to pick up Julie at the motel. Julie was in a ground floor room, so I was able to roll Sarah in, with little room to spare. Julie looked quizzically at our scarves, and completely dumbfounded when we went Tata. And whipped them off, revealing two bald heads. "Wait a minute," she said, after she recovered, looking at me. "After all that money I spent on your perm and dye job, and this is how you repay me? You're supposed to look like me, aren't you?" "Not anymore. Everybody knows what Annie did by now, and I don't have to look like what you did the last time they saw you. But what if I have to come back here with Sarah for follow-up or something? Won't they be surprised when they see me with a full head of hair?" "I can take care of that problem," I grinned. "I know how to use the clippers now." "Not on your life, Buster," Julie shouted, and then laughed. She had caught me by surprise so many times that it was fun to do the same to her. "Oh, well," she finally said. "I was going to pay for your haircut back at the beauty shop when you get back home, and have them dye it back to your original color. I guess I won't have to worry about it now." She did make a point to take a few pictures of both of us. I reminded her of her promise, no blackmail or embarrassment later. We ate lunch at a soup and salad place, then went back to the wig shop. The owner was surprised to see two bald young women there instead of the one she expected. We found a wavy brown wig that somewhat approximated Sarah's hair color, and Julie promised to add some red highlights to make it nearer her true ginger color before we went back to Fort Russell. I encouraged Sarah to try on a few other colors and styles while she was at it. It wasn't the hysterically funny time that we had had the night before, but it was interesting to see her with a variety of styles and shades. Then Sarah made me try on some, saying that she might not always want to be seen in public with her crazy bald sister. We got another tight curly wig, this one dark brown, more like my natural color. The lady at the wig store gave us lots of instructions on taking care of our new hair, cleaning, styling, etc., yet another life skill I would probably find little use for in later years. After lunch, we said goodbye to Julie and I took Sarah to chemo. I walked with Sarah to the sign-in desk. A new clerk was working today. We started to walk away after Sarah signed in. "Pardon me, miss," she called out after me. "Aren't you going to sign in, too?" Sarah and I had left our wigs back at Hope Haven and just come over wearing scarves. When you go into the chemo area from the waiting room, you're not supposed to have any head covering on, and it's easier to stuff a scarf in a pocket than a full head of hair. So I guess it's no wonder she thought I was a patient, too. As I looked around the room, I was the only person there under 20 who wasn't a patient, and I did have a bald head under the scarf. Amanda came in about then, and checked out Sarah's and my new appearance. We took the scarves off, so our heads could glisten together. "How long did it take you to decide to do this, sister?" she asked me. "Actually, about 3 seconds. I'm a bit impulsive," I admitted. Tuesday, July 8th. With Kevin's help, I had been plotting today for over a week. I was up early, bathed, shaved, and in my undies. I slipped on a sundress that Julie's Aunt Claire had given her, one I'm sure that Julie had never worn. It was lavender with a subtle darker lavender leaf print beneath, and had fringes of lace along the high bodice and low back. I could see my skin through the holes in the lace. Very few teenagers would be caught dead in such a creation, unless they were in a 70s time warp, either 1870s or 1970s. But they were forecasting a hot day, and I had promised to wear each item in my wardrobe at least once, even those from Aunt Claire. Of course, since this was a university town, I could get away with wearing just about anything, without a second glance. Dress in place, I did my makeup, put on my brown curly wig, and wove a lavender ribbon through it, and even stuck in a dragonfly clip for good measure. Wow, aren't you a little overdressed for physical therapy today? Sarah asked me with a sleepy grin as I stepped back into our living area. I kissed her on the forehead. Get up, sleepyhead. And wear something nice. We're going to play hooky today. Hooky? Annie, she said as she bolted upright. We have PT, remember? I need it. I'm starting to learn to walk again, and I need that work. We can't just skip all that because you're in a silly mood. I just smiled. She smiled back. Silly outfit, too, Annie. Amanda was right. You do dress to please yourself. I was so hoping you'd get some fashion sense. Since I don't have chemo today, maybe we can take a drive or something after PE. I don't have to be back for medical tests until 3:30. She had gotten up and was hopping toward the bathroom, her right leg still standing in the corner by her bed. You really are sweet, though, she added. Sarah, I wasn't quite right when I said we should play hooky, I admitted. No, you were downright balmy. She leaned on a dresser by the bathroom door. Actually, we're not playing hooky, but we are going out. Kevin has a full schedule today and his assistant isn't coming in, so we agreed that I would work with you on both your walking and your socialization, I admitted. You need to get away from Hope Haven and the hospital, and learn to get around in public. I know you're self-conscious and shy, you were even before all this, and that's okay. But you can't just hide from everybody. When you've been out with our families, you've just used the wheelchair. That one night with Kelly was your only other trip out. Besides, it's a great excuse for us to both relax and have some time together where you can't smell medicine. Sarah's leg hadn't been replaced with the cosmetic one yet, and had this strange bionic mechanical look. After her bath, she was strapping it on. Her wig still sat on the foam wig form. With this bald head and crazy leg, do you know what I look like? She asked. A beautiful bald woman with a leg that was built in a machine shop? I asked. Like the Borg Queen, she said. As you've noticed, I'm a dedicated Trekkie, and I had taken her to the Star Trek movies and watched the videos with her a lot. The Borg Collective was a race without individuality, half human and half machine, led by a bald queen who was little more than head, shoulders, and machine. So assimilate me. Resistance is futile, I laughed as I kissed her. She didn't know whether to wear slacks, where the right leg would bag in too much, or a long dress, where part of the mechanical leg would be visible. She decided on the dress, since I was wearing one, too. When I told her we would spend a lot of time outdoors, I helped her put on a lot of sunscreen. Her treatments made her skin susceptible to burning. I pulled the Honda out from the parking lot, and after she sat down, I stuffed the back seat and trunk with her wheelchair and walker. We drove to a pancake house and enjoyed breakfast. We drove slowly around the university campus, sightseeing and talking. We pulled into a park and I wheeled Sarah over to a nice sunny picnic area. The sun feels great, doesn't it? Yeah, you're right, Annie. It's good to be outdoors, away from that place. After a few minutes, she asked, what am I going to do about driving? Will they let me keep my license with just a left leg? It's funny, I just now thought about that. I've been focusing so much on just walking again. I'm sure you'll be able to drive, I said. I don't know if the state will require a car with hand controls, or if you can just reverse the positions of the gas and brake pedal. I'm sure Kevin could tell you. I tried to reach over to the gas pedal with my left foot, and it seemed really awkward. I saw a tear trickle down her cheek. Mark, you can be Mark now, if you don't get too fresh, okay? I love you dearly and I know you love me, but I'm not sure that we're right for each other anymore. Sometimes I wonder why you aren't embarrassed to be around me all the time. I'm such a mess. Believe me, Sarah, a boy in a lavender and lace sundress doesn't embarrass easily. No, you are the only girl I will ever want in my life. Without you, I'd just go off and be a monk somewhere. You can't be a monk. You're a Presbyterian, she chuckled. But I'm going to hold you back. You're athletic. You love your bicycle racing and mountain biking and things like that. I can't even go on slow bike rides with you anymore. Actually, I said, I've researched that. You're right, it'll be slow, but you should be able to ride again. All of your work will be done with your left leg, of course, but according to some internet sites I've seen, one-legged people can ride bikes. Or climb mountains. Or ski. My dad told me of a guy named Terry Fox, who had a leg just like yours, who jogged across Canada just to show the world he could. I don't expect you to do any of that if you don't want to. Your sister is enough of a jock for both of you. But you can do just about anything you want if you set your mind to it. So there, Sarah Beth Holding. I'll always love you. Then I got down to PT business. So far, Sarah had only walked on smooth surfaces. I brought her the walker, and we worked together as she slowly made her way across the grass. There were a few near stumbles, but I was pleased with her efforts. I still can't believe how nice it is to be out, and to have my own physical therapist, whom I happen to love, here with me, she said. Can we just stay here in the sun all day? We wanted you to be out with people more, but we can at least spend the morning, I guess. We can plan more times away. Sarah had a sleeveless top on, but wished she had dressed in shorts rather than a skirt. She had me pull out an old blanket from the trunk, so we could lay down in the sun. She made me promise to be Annie, though. There wasn't much traffic in the park, but she didn't think that we should do anything more than hold hands. I know you plan to eat in a restaurant, but let's really eat out, pick up some stuff at the grocery store and have a picnic, she exclaimed near noon. I agreed. So my plans for spending time on the campus and in the funky shopping area next to it were put on hold. We spent the whole morning in the park, except for a quick trip to the grocery store to pick up deli sandwiches, chips, and sodas for our picnic. We worked more on her walking, both on grass, on a wood chip trail, and on sidewalks, so she would have at least as much exercise as she would have in PT. About 2 o'clock, it was time to go back. She looked at me quizzically. You haven't had much sun this summer, have you? No, not nearly as much as usual. Most of my time outdoors has been on my bike, and I've worn my uniform. So my face is tan, but not much else. That's not true now, she grinned. Your shoulders, backs, and arms are burned. And with those holes in the lace around your bodice and back, you are going to have the most darling tan lines. She hooted in laughter. I looked down. I stretched out the lace. She was right. A dainty red-on-white lacework pattern spread across my chest and back. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access. Link in the comment, thanks.